Hi, I'm Liz, and this is the third of 4 pillars in how to have a groovy, happy you lifestyle. Let's see, the first pillar, eliminate the assholes ethically. The second pillar is to heal your own assery. And this third pillar is about filling your cup. And then the fourth pillar is going to be about how to share from the abundance of your filled cup or cups, as the case may be. Anyway, let's get into it for today. So, this should be the easiest of the 4 pillars, filling your own cup. But sadly, it can be the most complicated because we've been brainwashed into thinking what we should and shouldn't fill our cups with. And that's not your fault, but if you feel frustrated or unsure, again, not your fault. You get to choose. But sometimes even choosing is overwhelming, and that's why we tend to give our choosing powers away. And we've been conditioned to do so. Yay, hummingbirds. So, being disconnected from our true selves is where we are also taught about the lack and that how that impacts us is it's another layer of the lie. What we think we lack is not necessarily what we truly do lack. What we lack is the connection, and what we're told we lack is motivation, self-esteem, things that are fixable with consumerism. Big lie, big lie. Anyways, let me get back to my notes. Okay, so we've been conditioned to buy our wants and to ignore our needs. If we have a need and we voice a need, we are told we are wrong for having a need, for having that particular need, and redirected in how to fill that need. Medications, substance abuses, consumerism, any number of things. Whoa, guys, in a little mini hummingbird war zone. It's not like there's a lack of opportunities. My yard's in full bloom. We'll have to do that episode here coming up. And there's 3 hummingbird feeders on this property. Okay, getting back. Okay, so the misconception of what we perceive as lack that isn't a lack, that's all part of the second pillar of healing our own assery. Hopefully you've had a chance to go through that, but if not, go back and watch that video and hit me up with questions if you have more, and I'd be happy to expand on those. The filling of one's cup should be easy, but sometimes we're overwhelmed with too many options or unsure of ourselves because, again, that's part of the process of feeding us lies, to make us unsure. Uh-oh, where did it go? So this is where you get to be discerning. And to be discerning, it's important to know what the difference is between a need and a want. And that could take some untangling, but I have full confidence you can manage it. A need is something your body, your mental health, your connection to what you perceive as sacred, those are all needs. And wants are the things that are external. They're not part of your internal drive. They're an external thing. And it's okay to have wants. It's okay to fill your cup with wants. Just know the difference and be discerning. Okay, that's that part of it. You get to decide and choose for yourself what filling your cup looks like. For me, my cup looks like taking care of my needs because I've neglected them for decades, way too long. Occasionally, I'll give a token need a little bit of attention, but essentially, I've been draining myself and allowing myself to be drained. Again, that's part of the healing the Assery part. Um, but filling my own needs, may have to come back to that part. Hmm. Getting in touch with what my needs are and filling those true needs. That's me filling my own cup. And one of the tools I use to do that is something I learned from studying permaculture. And for me, it's not having to reinvent the wheel. You do you, but for me, it's not having to reinvent the wheel. When I'm out of line with my ethics and my values, my cup is like cracked and broken, and it's not going to hold anything. When I'm living in tune with my values and my ethics, almost anything I hold my cup under is going to feel good. So, permaculture ethics are earth care, people care, and fair share. They're pretty straightforward, fairly simple to grasp, and they're non denominational. And it can be argued that they were appropriated from indigenous people. So I like to acknowledge that part of it. But that doesn't mean that they're not a useful tool. So I do use them as a tool. Spending time, I know, is one of my personal needs in nature, spending time in nature. So here I am outdoors. Because I'm using the mic, you might not be able to hear my fountain running, but it's running in the background. And I've got hummingbirds zapping all over the place. I've got little color spots. I've got some food growing. It's a fun, groovy little spot for me, and it helps fill my buckets of needs and wants and all the groovies. So, yeah, creating this little area in my backyard was about, well, some people like to create an altar maybe inside their home or out in their garden. I found that kind of limiting because for me, everything's sacred. So, yeah, I spread my altar out all over the place. I create little happy pockets and goofy, fun things for me to enjoy and appreciate in my own little area here. And it's my way of creating my own little heaven on earth, if you will. You can think of it however you wish. You get to make your own little spots and choose for yourself. Uh, Creating community is also part of what I need to fill my bucket with. I enjoy being connected to greater things and the people that are around me. I feel safe. I feel secure. They keep an eye on me. I keep an eye on them. It's a reciprocity. And I think that's an area I'm going to come back to and talk more about is the American push for independence is inaccurate. I think we need to have healthy boundaries and a foundation of interdependence. And I think with more interdependence, we would have a much more harmonious and ethical and value driven communities. And everyone's values are different, and that's okay. We don't have to have the same values, it's a balance. Another one of the things that I find very important and it's sometimes referred to in the blue zones, is body movement. So I move my body here in the garden. I'm also taking care of my heart with my heart PT and doing some exercises independently on my own. But the movement, the continuous body movement is important as we age in our bodies. And I get to do that here. And a lot of people, I get to watch them walk past me in the mornings or evenings, taking their dogs or themselves for walks or their friends and neighbors. It's pretty cool. It's all part of the living congruently with people. And one of my other values and needs is to be able to contribute. I'm not a lazy person. I am doing a lot. A lot of what I do and have done my entire life doesn't have a dollar value necessarily, and is oftentimes, no, it is almost entirely mocked and not acknowledged from the patriarchy and capitalistic society that I live in. So it's important to acknowledge where you also contribute, because that will contribute to your sense of happiness and joy and in your lifestyle. But again, you get to choose your own ethics, your own values, and fill up your cups around what that looks like for you. So thinking about that, what does fill your cup up? Maybe you can let me know in the comments below. I'd like to hear what some of your ideas are, what your needs are, maybe some of your own ethics and values, and where you set up some boundaries that are important to you. I'm a little biased. I'd like to see that you have at least some organized thoughts about your values and your ethics, because those are important personal boundaries, and those set up for you what you will and will not tolerate in others and of yourself. Knowing that, and when you have to live outside of those ethics and values, is a major pain point for a lot of people. And people are having to compromise themselves in that area of ethics and values in order to survive in today's society. And at least that's the perception that we're offered. However, I think that is an exaggeration. I don't think there's a truth to that. I think that there is a facet of power hungry, greedy bastards that are telling us that and not accepting anything else. But truly, we do outnumber that. People with values and ethics out represent those assholes. So one of the easiest forms of rebellion is to do you. Do your own ethics, do your own values, fill your own cup. Sometimes people hear fill your own cup and they worry that everybody's going to run around filling their cup up. But that's a fear-driven greed, and the majority of us are not greedy. Greed is a mental disorder. It's not in the DSM, should be very clearly in the DSM. But then again, the powers that be, they get to write the DSM, and even parts of the Constitution are disappearing. It's no surprise that greed is not listed in the DSM. If you don't know what to fill your cup with, if you're still a little fuzzy on that, start with kind of getting a feel for what your ethics and values are. Within that, where are you deficit? What can you do to change that? What do you need to fill up within yourself to help you change that, to fuel your power and enthusiasm? Discern what the difference is between a need and a want, and fill up with those needs big time. Take as many cups and buckets as you need, and throw some wants in there too, because life is meant to be joyful that way. It's okay to have wants. Uh, in case you were wondering, I kind of figured you might have assumed this, but I should probably just state this right out loud. Living a groovy, happy you lifestyle does not require permission. You get to do this just because you're you. So, what does a groovy, happy you lifestyle entail for you? What does it look like? What does it feel like? Do you need rest right now? Rest is a great form of resistance. It's perfectly okay. And bonus points for being resistant with enjoying your rest. Not that anyone's keeping points or scores. What brings you joy? The Marie Kondo, I think it is, would say, is what sparks joy. Fill your backyard space up with that. Fill your areas with that. Fill your imagination with all of that. Disconnect from anything that doesn't as much as you can. Put it on a back burner, ignore something in front of it, a plant. I kind of hide my garbage cans behind a little screen, and it's only so effective, but at least they're not in my face. What do you need for a groovy happy you lifestyle? Kind of start dialing that in, play with it, experiment. You could get it wrong, you could get it right. It's okay. It's okay to play with that idea. think think of areas that like health, for example, where you could really use some cups filled up. Do you need to take a nap? Do you need to set boundaries on the stimulus that's coming in? Do you need to disconnect from the news, from social media, from me, from anything else? It's okay. Um, do you need to walk barefoot somewhere out in the yard? Play around with your cups. Do think about your health, physical and mental, emotional, all of that. Even your financial health. That's important too. I mean, not to put too much umph into it, but we are living in the society we're living in. We're not all able to run off into the woods and live in a community that's disconnected from the internet. It'd be kind of fun though. Think about your physical needs, your emotional needs. Do you need a hug? Where can you find one? You need some mental cups filled. I take classes. I love classes. I took a gardening class, and boy, that just filled up all kinds of cups. I got out in nature. I got some knowledge that's passionate about. I met up with other people who are passionate and created a community there or joined the community there. So, and I get body movement, physical health, emotional health. I mean, the class, it checks all the boxes. So, is there any classes that you'd like to take? A yoga class, a dance class, an art class, a photo class, underwater basket weaving? What floats your boat? Enjoy it. Tag in. You don't have to be perfect. It doesn't need to lead to a side hustle. It can just be for the groovy fun of it. Um, there are some cautions. So, just because something looks like champagne and tastes like champagne doesn't mean it is champagne. It might have you farting gas and causing pain. So, use some caution and some discernment. Uh, Even having too much can drain and drain your batteries and leave you kind of needing a nap or whatever. So just start tuning into you and listening. I went to Fiesta here a few weeks ago, and I guess it's only been a couple weeks ago. Oh my God, had so much fun on Friday, went back on Sunday, and whew, by Sunday afternoon, I hit a brick wall energy wise. I mean, it was like I was going, and then I dropped down like a little puppy. Just bam, I was sound out. But I had a good time. I'll do it again next year. And there's times where I don't mind overdoing it because, you know, hey, it's a Groovy Happy You. It's a lot of fun. A Groovy Happy You lifestyle is just that. It's a lifestyle of contentment and joy and groovy fun. Contentment is not something that's often talked about, but and it might be something that you want to start tuning into and paying attention. Are there times in the day or have been in your life where you felt a deep contentment? That's your breadcrumb to how to get back there. The breadcrumbs are there. Just think about what uh, got you to that point, and if you haven't, go back to play. It's all good. Fill your cup to overflowing. That's this goal for this part, this pillar. Fill your cup to overflowing. Feel what that feels like. Feel what the joy of sharing and splashing, because that's what we're going to come to next, is sharing from that flow of abundance. Because can you imagine what it would be like to live in a world where everyone's cups were overflowing? That's the party I want to show up to. Anyways, peace and groovy. See you next time.